Make sure that I've got 4 golds, 4 silvers, 3 bronzes, because then my frame I'm going to put it in, it'll be like 4, 4, 3.
But I can just imagine you now in the gold medal position going, hang on, I still need the silver. No, slow down.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamilton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 57 of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Today we are going to be talking with Mark Ormrod about his journey, and we're going to be talking a lot about books today as well. So if you are interested in books and you want to get into your personal development, have a look at my top 80 books list. You can get this at the website bigidea.co.uk/books, and you'll get the top 80 books that I've read there. That sounds like a lot of books, but I've read close to 1,000 books, and these are the best of the best. So motivational books, tactical productivity, if you want to work on your mindset, your health, your sales, your marketing, whatever, there'll be something in that list for you. So anyway, on to today's guest, and it is Mark Ormrod. On Christmas Eve 2007, Royal Marines Commando Mark Ormrod was out on a routine foot patrol in the Helmand Province of Afghanistan when he stepped on and triggered an improvised explosive device. He was airlifted via helicopter to an emergency field hospital where an innovative and dangerous procedure saved his life. He woke up 3 days later back in the UK with both legs amputated above the knee and his right arm amputated above the elbow. He was the UK's first triple amputee to survive the Afghanistan conflict. Doctors told Mark that he'd never walk again and that he should prepare himself for the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Mark thought otherwise though, and he hasn't used a wheelchair since 2009. Today, Mark Ormrod is a motivational speaker, performance coach, mentor and role model to other amputees, and an ambassador for the Royal Marines Association. He's also the star of a documentary called No Limits, a gold medal winning athlete at the Invictus Games, and is currently writing the follow-up to his 2010 autobiography, Man Down. Please welcome to the podcast, Mark Ormrod.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
To see you. Very good, great to see you.
That's a hell of an intro you gave me, by the way.
I know, I built you up then, so no pressure.
I know, I hate that motivational speaker title. I find it very American. Like, you expect me to go out and high-fiving people and hugging them, but really it's just me telling stories on the stage. But yeah, it's part of what I do. I enjoy it. So thank you for the great intro.
But you're changing people's lives. I know what you mean about motivational speaker, because everyone thinks it's Tony Robbins,
right?
It's rah-rah, it's let's turn the music up. And everyone, I've been some in the UK, and they say, right, stand up on your chairs and get clapping. And we're like, we're British.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we'll sit here and give you a polite round of applause.
No, I remember my first Tony Robbins event, and I was looking around like, no one's going to do this. This is in London. But they all got involved. They got stuck in, and by the end of 3 days, everyone was hugging and high fiving, and we've been Americanized.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yes, everything was awesome.
So, a quick note of warning for the listeners. I don't know if you've picked up on Mark's accent, but he is from Plymouth. So we have now got 3 Jannas sat around this table. We did our sound check earlier, and we said that we were off to Asda's by our lotteries.
In it, bye, get on.
Yeah. So if today's podcast descends into right, mate.
I've been warned.
So one thing I'm interested in, Mark, is what was Mark Ormrod the Marine like?
Do you know what? I've talked about this a lot. It's a little bit strange to say because I don't want to sound rude when I'm saying it, but people always say, the situation I'm in now, have I always been this way? I've always been motivated and driven. And the short answer is yes. But from my perspective, it took me losing both my legs and my right arm for people to see it. So when you say what was Mark Ormrod the Marine like, I wasn't much different to what I'm like now. You know, I was there was the first couple of years of my career, you know.
Thank you, Chewy.
I finished my training when I was 18. So I'm a young lad, you know, you put a green beret on my head, I think I'm Rambo, spent a couple of years just enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, I was born and bred here in Plymouth, like you just discussed. And so I know a lot of people, once you wearing that beret, you walk around kind of with your chest out a little bit, and I got in a little bit of trouble for the first couple of years, but then I now knuckled down and I got focused. And, you know, I've always been that kind of forward-driven kind of way. So yeah, I mean, Mark the Marine in the beginning, young, loving life, full of energy, just out there being a lad. As we all do as we get older and we progress in our careers and our lives, you mature a little bit, apparently. You settle down.
Do you?
Well, apparently you do. And, you know, that was off topic slightly, but one of the things someone said to me early in my career in the Marines is, it's like being Peter Pan, but they give you a gun because you don't ever grow up. Just always kind of this way, you know, just goal orientated and focused and just wanting to grow as an individual and just squeeze the most out of this short time that we get on this planet.
So ultimately, you just went for 100 miles an hour, exactly the same then as you do now.
Yeah. I made a lot more mistakes back then because I was younger. But, you know, you learn from them, you move on, and you hopefully don't make them again.
So did you learn from them at the time? Or was that hindsight of being 20 years older now?
No, definitely did not learn at the time. You know, like a lot of people, I think some of the quote-unquote failures that I experienced and the mistakes that I made, you know, you get a bit down about them and you dwell on them a little bit, but then as you get older, you realise, well, they weren't really failures. You know, if you learn from them, they were mistakes, but again, if you learn from them, you don't make them again, it's not a completely negative thing. So, and I didn't know I knew that, to look at things that way until now when I'm older, you know. So, but it was fun. It was fun.
I'll bet. Going into different places, the same machine gun on your back.
Yeah, I mean, the first taste of combat I got was at 19.
Wow.
So I started my training in February 2001. 62 of us start. When you start at 30, it was 30 weeks back then, it's 30 now. 62 of us started, only 12 of us made it as what we call originals, which is from day one to earn your Green Beret without getting injury, without failing to meet the criteria and all that kind of stuff. So we joined in February 2001, finished in October 2001.
That's an interesting time to
exactly.
qualify.
Right, so 4 weeks before we finish, when we've done all the commando tests, we're halfway through the live firing exercises, just about to go into the phase where you do all the marching and everything and getting ready to pass out. We're in the NAFI and we witnessed 9/11. So everyone's like, guess where you boys are going in a couple of weeks? Being young and again thinking you're invincible and you're Rambo, you get excited about it. You're like, well, this is what we joined for, and this is perfect. That this early in our careers, we're going to get a chance to put all these skills you've hammered into us over 30 weeks to the test. So we passed out just pretty much straight away out of training. I was put through pre-deployment training to go to Afghanistan early 2002 on something called Operation Jacana. Now, for whatever reason, that didn't happen to the scale it was meant to. It became quite an SF, Special Forces kind of thing. So we didn't go even after going through all the training. And then Iraq came out in 2003. That then became our focus, and we did go on that. I think it was March 2003. I was one of the first guys, everyone says this, but I was one of the first guys out there on the ground, working out of what's called now 30 Commando, Stonehouse Barracks, down here in Plymouth. Spent a couple of weeks in Kuwait, just waiting, sat in trenches, just on that border of Kuwait, Iraq, ready to go over. Got given the signal and went.
Is there a lot of waiting around?
Oh, that's all the military is, hurry up and wait. On the bus, off the bus, get on the plane, off the plane. That's 90% of what it is.
But it's being ready, it's waiting and being ready to just a moment's notice.
And when you get that green light, then it's kinetic as hell for a short amount of time, and then you go back and you wait again. But that tour left me a little bit disappointed. You know, I was working with the HQ element, which is generally, I would say, logistic style stuff and planning and operating. 42 Commando went in and they took the Palace. 40 Commando went in and they took over the oil fields. And I kind of just stayed around the Kuwait, Iraq area, working out of a place called Azerbaijan Naval Base. Not seeing a great deal. I didn't fire one round in anger. Generally, when you went and kicked the door down, the people just gave up straight away. There was no fighting. They would surrender, and you take them away, and someone would do what they do with them. Spent 3 months effectively sunbathing listening to the conflict going on up north further, seeing fighting going on in the distance, but not getting involved in it because that wasn't my role there. At that time, I was attached to a medical branch, looking after casualties and stuff. So I came home and I was like, that wasn't what I thought.
You felt like you just had 2 weeks on all inclusive.
Well, it's honestly,
it's got a painful mind, hasn't it? Really? Because actually, you're all geared up for this that you've been trained for.
Yeah.
You're all geared up for the aggression and all of the shooting and all that sort of stuff. And you go there and you spend some time. It's like, actually, I'm not doing any of that. And then you get sent home again. It's like,
and
what have I just done all this?
It's worse when your friends. You know, I had friends that I went to school with here in Plymouth and Stoke Downhill that were at 42 Commando, 40 Commando, up there doing the business. And there's nothing worse than when you're sat in the back and you want to be up there with them, but you're not allowed. You know, I thought I was going to be down on my belt buckle with a bayonet in my teeth, crawling through the sand and, you know, doing this for 3 months solid because I was a young lad and I thought that's what going to war was.
And you just spent 30 weeks training to do that.
Yeah, well, and the pre-deployment training leading up to that deployment, you know, all the lectures you go to, the different training you do all over the country, you know, jumping out of helicopters and what we call fibula, fighting in built-up areas and running around made-up houses in Wales, shooting up rooms and stuff. You think you're going to do all that stuff. And then you don't do that.
Jason Bourne now, just jumping out of a window and across
the
anyway.
Yeah, not quite to that level, but we didn't put a Hollywood spin on it. But yeah, and then you get there and you kind of day by day waiting, hoping, and the next thing you know, it's right, lads, we're going back home now, and you kind of deflated. Yeah. So I came home. I came back to Plymouth, and you know what I said earlier about, you know, I enjoy growth, personal growth and development, and I came back and I'd felt, despite the lack of activity on my part out there, I still felt like I'd evolved a lot, you know, because I'd been out there and I'd seen it and I'd experienced it and I'd been semi-involved in it. And then, you know, you come back here, back to normal life. And it was just strange. Like before, you know, you'd be out in a nightclub, again, as a young lad, maybe someone who's big and looks tough, maybe he's drunk and you get that little fight or flight and adrenaline, and you come back, you're in that same situation and nothing. Yeah. You're just calm about it. You're like, well, it's just an idiot being drunk. And if he does anything, I'm a lot more confident now that I can deal with that, even without, you know, just talking. I could just confidently talk someone down, and I felt different. But ultimately, I hadn't really done what it was that I wanted to do. So that eventually led to me leaving early in 2006. Yeah, I came back. I started thinking, you know, what am I going to do in my career? Did the usual things, you know, went to Norway a couple of times, like some survival training out in the snow, boxed for the Marines for a bit. Because I thought, this slot came up for the boxing team, and I thought, oh, that'll be all right. I'll do a little bit of training in the morning and go home in the afternoon. Wrong answer. 4 hours every morning, 4 hours every afternoon, 8 weeks solid. Wow. Just hammering myself. And then had a baby. My daughter Kezia came along early 2005, so I decided to leave. Unfortunately, that didn't work out with Kezia's mother, but I was kind of in my mind, after putting my 12 months notice in, I was already a civilian. So I continued down that road, not really knowing what I was going to do. Ended up working as a nightclub doorman for a little bit, and then I took some money, inheritance money, what my grandparents had gave me, and some money that you're entitled to through the re-education system in the military. Flew out to South Africa. I retrained as a bodyguard. Oh, wow. Because I thought then, I think I was 22 years old at that point, I thought I'd be walking around in an Armani suit, talking into my cuff, you know, diving around protecting celebrities, and that isn't what the job entails. And I couldn't even get a job. You know, I was 22 years old, despite having a Green Beret, despite having experience at war, despite having qualified at a really prestigious coast protection training school out in South Africa. People wouldn't take me on because I didn't know anybody to get my foot in the door. Okay. So after a little period of kind of soul searching, life not going great, you know, really not happy with the way things were heading, I decided to rejoin the Marines, which I did early 2007. Yeah. Now, when I rejoined, one of the units, 40 Commando, who are based up in Taunton, they were next on the roster to go out to Afghanistan. I had a choice where I could have gone. It was either the Commando Training Centre in Exmouth, which is a non-deployable unit, or 40 Commando, who were next on the rotation. And I kind of felt it would have been a good tour for me. I didn't know what to expect. I was basing it on my tour in Iraq, but because my life wasn't where I wanted it to be, I thought it'd be healthy to get out of the country, just get away from all these distractions and things going on, reassess my life, reprioritize, come back and take it in a more positive direction. So I asked to go to 40 Commando. And so again, I got to the unit, we went through all the pre-deployment training, and I knew from the minute we did that it was going to be different because the training was different. It was a lot more intense, a lot more in detail, just, the next level up from what we did for Iraq. And then September we deployed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7th of September 2007.
Yeah. So that's 3 months later. Yeah, that's when the accident happened. Do you want to? I know obviously you've talked about this many times, but do you want to give us in your own words, the brief?
Yeah.
What happened on that day?
So we initially flew out 7th of September, went to a place called Camp Bastion. What you generally do, some people will stay there for their entire tour, 6 months there. Other guys, it's just like a holding station where you will acclimatise to the weather. You will run some more training serials out in the heat with all the kit on to make sure that you can get your body ready for that. Your equipment has to be cared for and maintained in a different way in the desert as it would to here, with oiling and all that kind of stuff. So you get all your kit and equipment ready, and then generally you get thrown on the back of a helicopter and flown out to what's called a FOB, forward operating base, in Helmand, Kajaki and all these places. So that's what I did. I got there, spent 4 days acclimatising, attending lectures, checking all my kit and equipment over, getting ready. And then me and a group of guys were thrown on the back of a Chinook and flown out to a base called Forward Operating Base Robinson, which was in the south of the Helmand Province. Mm-hmm. Now these FOBs, you know what a HESCO barrier is?
No.
So HESCO is basically, if you imagine, it's a cage like with your dogs in, but they will line it with some sort of material and then fill it with sand and bricks and stuff. So it's like a ballistic shield, and that's what they build the perimeter walls of these things out of. So it's not a brick wall, concrete structure or anything like that. It's just these giant sandbags basically. What these FOBs are made out of, so not much protection. So we flew into FOB Robinson. We were working with American Special Forces, Dutch Marines, US Army, loads of different people scattered all over the place. And our job was just to go out and dominate the area. So get boots on the ground, we'd conduct these different missions from day to day, go out, meet the locals, provide them with security. Our kind of job was to win the hearts and minds of the local people there. Some guys from other units were building schools for children and all that kind of stuff. And we were just going out there and basically taking the fight to the enemy, not waiting for them to contact us. Yeah. Going out there, conducting these positive missions, and then if we came into contact, we did what we had to do. Now on Christmas Eve, me and a group of my friends were called up to the headquarters compound at the opposite end of the FOB, and given this brief on the next foot patrol. Now it was a very brief brief, because the idea was that we would leave the rear entrance of our camp in 2 sections with 8 men in each section. One goes north, one goes south. We were told to patrol the immediate perimeter of the camp and not go any more than 300 meters. Before that, these patrols would be out for 4, 5, 6 miles, 8, 9, 10 hours. It was just a quick, get your boots out on the ground, show the enemy watching you that you're still out there doing something, even though we're not really doing anything. Come back in the front entrance of the camp, so now the opposite side, and then you can have a couple of days R&R, open your cards and care packages from home, and try your best to enjoy Christmas given the circumstances. So compared to what we've done, really, really easy, really, really basic, low-level stuff. So the time came, the rear gate was opened, we left. I was second in command of the section that went north, the other section went south, and we went out and did all those basic, low-level infantry style things that we've been doing to that point. About maybe 5.5, 6 hours into it, both sections now find themselves on the opposite side of the camp at the front entrance, ready to secure the location and go back and enjoy Christmas. Now my section were on a high piece of ground, what we called the North Fort. It was always a top, you have these things called target indicators, so if you come under attack, you can quickly shout orders to the guy saying, it sounds strange, but 2 fingers right of North Fort, so they know where the enemy is and all that. So we're up on the North Fort. We're up here. Fob Robinson is just beneath us, and then way down beneath that was the other section we left with. So we're in a very advantageous position tactically because we can see everything, and also fighting downhill is a lot easier than fighting at upper hill. So our job was to protect the other section. They would get into the camp through the front gate. They'd get behind that Hesco perimeter wall. They would then return the favour and protect us. We would come down off the high feature to where they were, climb up the little incline, get back into camp, job done. Really, really easy, basic stuff. So we got up there, we got given the task in. The guy in charge, a good friend of mine called Sean Helsby, took half of his section and started giving what we call fire positions. I took my half, and 4 or 5 minutes to my front, there was like a bowl in the ground. And because we're so high up on, you imagine like a ridge line, like a knife edge cliff or something. Normally you would take cover behind a set of trees or bushes or rocks, so you've got cover from view, and if you can, possibly cover from fire. But we had none of that. So I thought, well, okay, we can get in this bowl, it's shaped like a bowl, get on our bellies. We're up high anyway, you're only really going to see an inch and a half of our helmet if you're lucky. That's the best protection we could get. That's what I thought at the time. Looking back, I know how stupid that was because that's how they think too. They know we're going to do that, so that's why they start planning IEDs and devices. So we jumped in. The guys all started taking positions. I just stood back and observed for a little bit, make sure everything was cool. They then went firm. They gave me the thumbs up that they were happy. I did a couple last minute checks just to make sure that I was happy and that we were tight and defensive should we come under small arms fire. And then I started walking over towards the position that I selected for myself. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, I went to get down onto my stomach, and as my right knee hit the floor, that was the minute that I knelt on and detonated the Improvised Explosive Device. Wow. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I do remember it all. I can give you a brief description of what happened if you like. I won't go into too much detail. I'm quite proud actually. I've had 6 fainters and 2 criers when I've gone into detail about this when I've been doing it on the stage.
That's a fair warning for the listeners.
Yes,
I have watched the YouTube documentary, so okay. I should have ate before I watched it.
So you got to use your imagination a little bit. The ground in Afghanistan is very sandy and dusty and dirty. So if you imagine a device goes off, it creates this huge dust cloud. So temporarily, I'm blinded. I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on. I was in no pain whatsoever. But my gut instinct, after my adrenaline had spiked and my fight and flight had kicked in, my gut instinct was we've been attacked. Now, I knew from where I was positioned, behind me, about 600 metres down beneath us, there was a small rectangular forestry block, and everything around it was just flat mud fields. So it always sounds funny when I say this because there's all this chaos going on and it sounds like I'm sat there really calmly, methodically thinking of this, but it's just all your natural instincts. So I thought if anyone's going to attack us, if they've got any common sense, that's where they do it from because they don't want to be seen. Like I said earlier, cover from view. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I keep saying to myself, I can't see anything because of this dust cloud. Turn around, turn around, turn around. ID where these guys are in the forestry block, start shooting. When I start shooting, everyone else will start shooting. We had a big heavy machine gun 200 metres away in the camp. Someone would have got on that and they would have just, torn the forest in half. Mm-hmm. So I'm going in my head, turn around, turn around, turn around, find where these guys are and start attacking. After maybe 4 or 5 times in my mind of saying that, I kind of realised that I wasn't moving and I didn't know why. So I didn't really know what to do. I just thought, well, I'm going to sit here, wait for this dust cloud to settle, look around, reassess the situation, make a call on the ground and do what I can to save me and my friends in case we're under attack. So it settled to about chest height and, my adrenaline's through the roof. I'm panicking, looking around, hoping my friends are okay. Can't see anybody. Decided to carry on waiting, carry on looking around.
What are you hearing at this point?
It's so crazy. If anyone listening to this has ever been in a traumatic incident, when you're looking at everything, it's like slow motion. But everything in your head is like 1,000 miles an hour. And there's so many thoughts going through your mind. And it's kind of like a scene in a movie. You just look around, it's kind of echoey and you don't know what to think or do and you're confused. But all I was thinking was the guys that I was with. I'm just hoping no one's been hurt, but I couldn't see any. So I thought, right, I'll just carry on waiting. Again, this is split seconds, but it seemed like a lot longer at the time. And this dust cloud eventually hit the ground and disappeared. And as it did, and I'm looking around, I looked down to where my legs should have been, and they were gone completely from both knees down. On one of the legs, my tibia and fibula was still there, but it was almost like, this is going to sound really bizarre, but have you ever eaten a rib when the meat just falls off the bone? So the bones are there, right, and they're like clean, well, they got blood and dirt on, but they're just like clean picked. The flesh, everything was just ripped clean off. And I kind of just sat there looking down like, what's happening? And it felt like a dream. And
because you weren't feeling it.
I felt no pain.
So you almost didn't believe what your eyes were.
It's like after you've had 4 or 5 pints and you look around and you're a bit floaty and everything seems a little bit weird and surreal. And I'm looking and I've got no pain and I'm trying to process what's going on and there's confusion in my head and I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do to stop this enemy that I thought attacked us, and I'm thinking about all my friends and colleagues and panicking about them. And then I'm looking, I'm like, what's happening? This is a bit bizarre. Why do my legs look like they've disappeared? Anyway, I very quickly then thought about the rest of the lads, so snapped out of it, looked around trying to see if I could see anybody, and as I looked over my right shoulder, I saw Sean, the guy in charge. And me and Sean went to training together back in 2001, so I knew him really well and trusted him with my life. And while I'm trying to process all this chaos, I just look at his face. And, you know, the shock was in his eyes, the colour was drained out. And I didn't really even know what I was thinking right now. I completely forgot about my legs. I was just like trying to process 1,000,001 things. And then I looked at him and I'm like, shit.
It's real.
Yeah. But I still didn't believe it. So I went to look back to my legs to kind of give myself that final confirmatory signal and then figure out what to do. And as my eyes swept the floor, I got to about the 3 o'clock position and I saw my arm just lying there in the sand. It was still attached, but from my bicep to my wrist, it was just, there was no bone, it had shattered. It was torn open. My hand was still in pretty good nick. And I remember I just picked my hand up and kind of put it in front of my face and then just dropped it and just let out this huge like scream of frustration. Now I know from the training in that situation, all the guys around me are trained not to get emotional, because the first thing they want to do is run in and help their friend, but we're trained not to in case there's other devices, which incidentally there were 6 others around, but they could set them off and kill me or kill themselves. But I knew they all had these predetermined tasks that they had to undertake should this situation arise, and they did it like perfectly. No one got carried away or freaked out. Everyone, the guy on the radio called in the Kazivac to get me evacuated. The other guy started coordinating a defensive position in case there was a small arms attack. The guy closest to me was on his belt buckle with a bayonet, prodding the floor, marking a safe route for the medic. They all did it perfectly. And the medic got to me really, really quickly, gave me some morphine, tourniqueted my limbs, and then went to drag me out and get me out of there. Now, I won't go into too much detail about what happened then, but it involved me having, my right foot was still kind of attached to my thigh. There was nothing from the knee down except this string, like this muscle strand attaching my foot that was still in my boot to my leg. So he had to pick that up and put that on my stomach. I don't know how the hell he got me out of this thing, because I read the report and this little bowl I was in is now 12 feet deep by 15 feet around, and we're on a high feature. So he gets me out the bowl, down the high feature to the vehicle way in. The guy driving Mach 10s it across this road, he's going back up into the camp up the incline. The doctor fell out the back. Then I fell out the back. The guy driving swings around, puts an arm out, grabs something to keep me in, grabs the femur bone coming up my right leg. I don't feel it because of the morphine. He left the medic because that other section of guys that I talked about was still at the bottom of the incline, so he was safe. And then got me to the helicopter lander's site. And the last thing I remember is the helicopter landing. And then I blacked out and apparently died. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing to think, you say about the team completely following the procedure, because it's all well and good in training to say we've got a process, we've got a procedure, this is what we do in the event of this happening, this is what we do. And that's great. But you said how much your adrenaline was firing. And you imagine the team, what you said, the look on the guy's face, told you immediately, oh my God. How do you not react emotionally when you see a comrade in that situation? And how do you automatically, reactively, instinctively follow the procedure rather than your gut instincts?
Well, what I can tell you from a military perspective is discipline. It's the discipline that's beaten into us from day one, that there are these procedures and systems in place for a reason, and the reason is it saves lives, and that's what it did for me. If they'd have all got, if one of them had freaked out, and especially the guy closest to me, his job is to mark the safe route for the medic so he can get to me quick. If he freaks out and doesn't do that, and you imagine the medic comes running in, stands on the device himself, boom, you've probably got 2 dead bodies. But they did everything so perfect because they were trained to do it, they were disciplined to do it, and they knew how different the outcome could have been had they not done that. And I think also, if I was putting myself in their shoes, had they done everything that they did to the high level they did it, but I'd have died, they could have took comfort in the fact that they did everything properly, and it was nobody's fault, and it's just one of, sometimes it's a great thing in the military, the discipline, and this is how it's done, this is what we're doing. Sometimes it's not. In that situation, it was a good thing.
Absolutely. And it's the training, I guess, as well, because actually you go through all of those scenarios and you do all of that during your basic and all the deployment and all that sort of training as well, so you actually practice that, so it becomes actually something that you do instantly, kind of intuitively, rather than by guts, I guess, isn't it?
And the funny thing is, in training, you'll cock it up 9 times out of 10. Someone will make a mistake somewhere. But when it matters and you have to do it and someone's life literally depends on it, honestly, I don't know how, that's like my lasting memory for me, is how perfect those guys reacted. And that's the reason that I'm here.
So you woke up 3 days later, back in the UK, and do you remember the first conversations you had with the doctors?
So the first week in intensive care it's quite hazy. I was on a lot of pain relief, a lot of medication, and I was hallucinating a lot. So you remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
Do you remember that like kind of high fade haircut that Will Smith had?
Yeah.
So he came to visit me. Then another Will Smith, he had the small haircut. Then another one, the medium, and then another one with this. Like, you remember that Kid and Play? Remember that Kid and Play movie, House Party? And so I spent a day just hanging out with Will Smith. Well, 3 Will Smiths in my room. Then there was another guy driving like an ammo forklift truck around my room, putting ammo containers on the bed. Then an 8-foot bottle of ketchup, like Heinz ketchup, appeared in the corner of my room, and I was just crazy, like off my nut on this medication, to the point where probably 4 or 5 days in, I pulled my arm out, my right arm, which was injured, out from under the bed sheet because I had an itch, and I looked at it and I started giggling, and the nurse said, "What are you laughing for?" I said, "Oh, this medication, all these hallucinations." It looks like my arm's falling off. Because to that point, I thought, I was seeing a right arm with a couple of fingers missing, and I was relieving itches on my body with an arm I didn't have. And she just looked at me, and I knew from the look, she was like, "How do I tell him that actually he's lost his arm right up above his elbow?" And I knew from that minute, but it sounds weird, but it was a fun, crazy period, just like hallucinating, and nothing seemed that much of an issue because of all the morphine and stuff. But again, what I'll say about those guys, when we're talking about discipline and procedures and stuff, the way they weaned me off that medication was perfect. Like, they could have done it too quickly or maybe took too long, but every day I woke up and they were reducing things, it was the perfect amount for me to understand, to bring myself back into reality out of a morphine-induced haze and understand and accept the level of my injuries and what had happened. So I didn't wake up one day and just completely freak out because they cut it too early. They did it so well that I was able to accept it gradually in the way that was perfect for me.
Did you have the usual, when you have any sort of loss or grief or whatever, you go through the grief process, don't you? Denial, anger, acceptance. Did you start off in that phase?
No, not really.
So it was day one. You said this is what it is.
I think there's only 2 ways you can go. You wake up and you do say that. You say it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. Let's crack on and figure this out. Or you wake up and you say, "Why me? I hate the world. This isn't fair," and you spend months, if not years, in that mindset and you never make any progress. And I think just because of the military training I had, I woke up, because everything, I don't know if it's a personality trait or I was trained to be like, I'm just matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 2 legs above the knee, 1 arm above the elbow. Right. Where do I get prosthetics? Who's going to teach me to walk? Let's go. And that was my mindset.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were two. I honestly say this. What is it now? 2019. So it's been 12 years. There's only been 2 times when I kind of went the other way. The first time was when I come out of intensive care. I went up to a single man high dependency room. 3.5 weeks post injury. The doctor comes in and tells me you never walk again. He's been like chopping people up for 30 odd years, and he's never seen anybody with 2 legs missing above the knee use prosthetics successfully full time.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a kick in the teeth. And then the first time I got out of hospital, my family was staying in a tower block of flats, and there was the bottom floor was a military welfare flat. So they wheeled me over in a chair, got in through the communal entrance. I got in through the front door of the flat, but I couldn't access any of the rooms because my wheelchair, being one-handed, was extra wide because you've got to steer it and accelerate it with one hand. So I kind of sat in the hallway and had to pee in a milk bottle and eat my food out there, which was difficult. And I managed to stay in the house that night. I got transferred through the doorway, put onto the bed in the bedroom, and I wheeled past a full-length mirror. I'd only ever seen myself from the neck up, shaving and stuff in the hospital sink. And I used to be 6'2". I used to weigh, at my heaviest, like 16 stone, lift a lot of weights and be super fit. And there I was, I think I'm about 3.5 feet tall without my prosthetics on now. And I was under 9 stone, really gaunt, just like a skeleton with a bit of skin on. And I don't mind it. I always say this, no matter if I'm on a podcast or on stage, I just cried all night. Cried all night and said, I can't do this. This is not me in the mirror. I'm 6'2", wearing tight t-shirts, training all the time, trying to be this alpha male, and now I'm in a wheelchair with one arm, looking like I've just been dug up, and I don't want to do it. And I broke down that night. But then I woke up, next day, new day, fresh start, and was like, you know what? Let's just get on with it. Let's go.
Just dealt with it.
That was it.
So when that doctor first said to you, I've got, was it 20, 30 years experience, you're never going to walk again. Did you immediately accept that and say, okay, that's what this is from now on? Or did you go, no, bollocks to that? I'm going to be the first one to prove you wrong.
Neither.
Okay.
No.
So it came all gradually, did it?
I spent about 4 days trying to process what he told me and then figure out a plan forward. I'm like, okay, right, I'm going to be in a wheelchair now. Right? I don't like that because that means I need people to drive me places. I didn't know anything about being disabled. I didn't know what was available. But I need people to drive me here, care for me here, do this for me, do that for me. I'm going to be a massive burden on people. I don't really want to do that. But what's my alternative? Is to figure something out. And about 6 days after he came in, a guy came to visit me. I had no idea he was coming. His name was Mick Brennan, and he walked in my hospital room with 2 prosthetic legs on above the knee, and he was blown up in Iraq in 2005. And he sat down and told me a story. And he took his legs off and he showed me how they fitted. He told me how the fitting process. He told me what rehab would be like. He told me what he'd achieved, what I could expect to achieve. And so as soon as he left, I got my laptop. I got a laptop brought in my room. And this is back when you had to get on the internet with a dongle.
Oh God, you remember those, yeah.
So I got a dongle, plugged it in, and then I started to research on triple amputees, prosthetics, just searching all over the world to see anybody who had my injuries that was living their life without being confined to a wheelchair. And that was I found some people, and it was a massive motivator.
So in that instant, the impossible became possible.
Yeah.
You suddenly realised, actually, it can be done because I've seen it. This guy walked into my room. It's Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile again. It can be done until it's done. And then, all of a sudden, was it 3 weeks or 6 weeks after he broke the 4-minute mile? 13 people had broken the 4-minute mile because it is possible.
I know. And I've always believed that since whether you want to be the best footballer in the world, a multi-millionaire, whatever it is, if someone's done it before you and you have the same set of circumstances, some people are born with severe disabilities and stuff, and it may not be possible. But as long as you follow mentally and physically their processes, you can get similar results.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I found a triple amputee out in America called Cameron Clapp, flew out to meet him, spent 3 weeks with him and his team whipping my ass. Like, it was training to be in the Marines hard.
Yeah.
I would very slightly put that 3 weeks just above it, like mentally and physically how hard it was. But I looked at this guy and thought, well, this guy doesn't use a wheelchair. He runs in triathlons. He swims in the ocean. He's a surfer. He drives cars with that adaptations. If he can do it, all I've got to do is copy what he did.
Yeah.
So I went out there.
blueprint.
Exactly. And it's been really hard for him because no one had done it before him.
Yeah.
And he paved the way. But I went out there, condensed, I think it was 7 years of his time into 3 weeks, came out with similar results.
Yeah.
That was it. 9th of June 2009, said goodbye to the chair.
I love that. There's a story. You remember Scott Adams, the guy who did the Dilbert cartoons?
No.
He was diagnosed with this really, really rare disease, and it affected his speech, so that he couldn't get, at any time, his brain wouldn't access more than about 40 words.
Mm-hmm.
He had access to these words, but he couldn't get them from his brain to his mouth. And the doctor said to him, "There's no cure. There isn't a cure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very rare disease. We don't know." And he just said that wasn't what he heard.
Mm-hmm.
He said the words he heard were, "Scott, you're going to be the first person in the world to be cured of this disease."
Nice.
And sure enough, it took him about 3 years, but he was given the all clear and he absolutely cured himself. And he said, the only difference was, in my brain, I absolutely 100% believed that I was going to be the first person in the world to be cured of this incurable disease. And it's just amazing to see that, the power of the brain can come up with 8-foot ketchup bottles. And
Yeah. No, I'm like you, man. I just finished reading your book on holiday. I'm big into that stuff as well. A lot of people in this day and age, I don't know if it's vanity or what, they'll spend God knows how many hours and how many thousands of times training their body, but not their mind. And I think this is just my personal opinion, but we're almost conditioned nowadays from birth to look at the negative. You wake up in the morning. I've got my routine, like I know you have. They wake up in the morning, smack the snooze button 3 times, drag himself out of bed, have a coffee and probably a cigarette, turn the news on and read that there's a terrorist attack, the economy's shit, this politician's done that, some poor kid's been killed or something, and they don't even know, their mind straight into negativity. Then they get in the car, drive to work, put the radio on, they got the same news, and then someone cuts them up and they're angry as hell. And then they get to the office and they meet with their co-workers 10 minutes before they get another coffee, and they've all had the same experience, and you got like a bunch of people all in a negative. It's not even 8:30 in the morning yet, and they want to kill everybody. But no one does the opposite. Well, some people do, but it takes a little bit of effort. So I get up at 25 to 6 in the morning, and I'll do at least 10 minutes with the earphones on meditating. Okay. Then I'll have black coffee because I enjoy that, and then I'll either go and train or do what I can before the kids wake up. And I have a routine, but it's a positive routine. In the car I listen to podcasts. My social media feeds are set up to throw positivity at me. On my personal Facebook, it's great. You don't have to unfriend anyone anymore, but you can unfollow them. So if they're just annoying you with all their drama and stuff, you just go unfollow, and they don't even know you've done it. But then your feed is just full of positive motivational stuff, and it just feeds your brain every day.
Exactly. I mean, Facebook, social media, it is an echo chamber. What you see on there is just put back at you. The more what you like, you see it. And we always talk with the political side of things. Whichever side of the fence you're on politically, let's not even go down the Brexit route, but whichever side of that fence you're on, the post you like will show you more of that. So actually you start to believe that this is the way the world is. Because, Facebook shows me that. All my friends agree with me. No, they don't. All the friends whose posts you like agree with you. All the friends whose posts you ignore or unfriend, you don't see those, and you don't see that point of view. And actually, thank you, Julie. I'm glad you agree. I saw a brilliant quote. You said that positivity. I saw a brilliant quote yesterday. You can either be upset that roses have thorns, or you can be thankful that thorns have roses. And it's just the way you frame things, the way you look at it.
And there's so many people just don't. I don't even think they're aware of what's happening to them with all the negativity. They will, like you say, they'll look at a bad situation. What was I saying? So I met with a friend on Monday or Tuesday, and he's a property developer, and he was talking about a building he's going to buy, and he said, it's really bad. There were like needles in there, and the ceilings have fallen in, and people have been in there, and they ripped all the electrics out. And he went, happy days. They don't have to work for me. They
Yeah.
ripped it, and I was like, that's a hell of a way to think about it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
When a property developer says things are bad, you know he's got a smile on his face.
And he was
when
like,
he's saying it.
these vandals have come in and ripped all the electrics out and I didn't have to pay them.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, but he's got a unique way of looking at things.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Exactly. So let's talk books. You mentioned, obviously, you read my book, Routine Machine, available from all good bookstores, as long as they're called Amazon at the moment. No, you were featured in that book.
I was.
Because a couple of years ago, you went into your first Invictus Games.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about how that came about and how you got on, certainly the first and second times?
Yeah. So every December, probably mid-December, I'll sit down and go through a goal setting process. I just literally, for a minute, I'll put some subheadings: health, finances, career, family, whatever. And then I'll just scribble down like anything that's in my head, just dump it out there. And then I'll kind of niche it down, and then I'll start the planning process and I'll go through that. And in 2006, in December, I was aware that 2016, I was aware that in 2017 on Christmas Eve, it was my 10-year, what we call bang-anniversary, right?
So you love it.
And so I thought, well, what should I do to mark that occasion that I haven't done?
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down and I kind of closed my eyes at home in the office, and I envisioned a jigsaw puzzle, right? And it had family, health, career, fun. And the middle bit, I'm just sat there, my eyes closed, thinking, what haven't I done that I can do to fill that middle piece of the puzzle? And it was sport. I'd never done any adaptive sport because I didn't like it in the beginning. And then when I went to America, my whole focus was on getting rid of the wheelchair. Everyone else was doing the sport, and that wasn't my goal. So I thought, okay, I'll do some sport. Now, I think the Invictus Games were in their second year now. I think they've been to London and Florida. So I've seen a lot of my friends competing, bringing home medals, pushing through their personal challenges and barriers. And I was like, oh, I'll give this a go then. Just jump straight in the deep end. I can't just decide to be a Paralympian and do that in less than a year, but this is the next best thing for me.
Yeah.
So I applied. I had no idea if I'd make the team because I knew nothing about the sports. I wasn't in the cliques. The only sport I'd done that was on offer prior to being injured was swimming, and that was only for fun. But I made the team, fortunately. Mm-hmm. And I'd only ever planned to do it once. I thought I'm going to go there, train as hard as I can, do it once, tick the box, and then pick back up in 2018 and 2019 with other things. So, like I said, I was fortunate enough to make the team. What did I do the first year? Hand cycling, rowing, and swimming. I went out to Canada. I did okay. What did I get? 2 silvers, 2 bronzes. And what was really cool is Jaguar Land Rover were a sponsor. And out of 21 countries and all the athletes from those countries, they'll give one award out for the best overall athlete.
Yeah.
And I managed to bag that in my first games, like any first time of any sport. And I was like, awesome. But I went home and I was like, that is great, but my set's incomplete. I got 2 silver, 2 bronzes. I need 2 golds because my OCD won't let me get it down. So I was like, right, I'm going to go again the next year. And the advantage I had the next year was that I knew a bit about the sports, the etiquette, the strategy. I didn't think there was a strategy for going backwards and forwards on a rowing machine, but there is. And I proved it the next year when I stuck to my coach's strategy. I got the 2 golds. What did I do in Australia? So 2 golds in the rowing, 2 golds in the swimming, I think, bronze in the shot put and discus, and a silver swimming as well.
So there's still an imbalance there then.
No, but I let that one go. So I was like, I need to make sure that I've got 4 golds, 4 silvers, 3 bronzes, because in my frame I'm going to put it in, it'll be like 4, 4, 3.
But I can just imagine in the gold medal position going, hang on, I still need a silver. No, slow down.
I swapped this gold for silver just because it looked better on my wall. But yeah, no, I did that and I came back and I was like, I'm happy now.
Yeah.
And I'm officially retired from competing. For many reasons, but one of the main reasons is, you get like 500 people applying, and there are only, I think this year, 65 places. Mm-hmm. I've been twice. I've enjoyed it. I've got the benefit of it. I think you get to move over and let someone else go. Because I've seen a lot of people who didn't make the team, how it's negatively affected them.
Yeah.
My phone was ringing for a week after in Australia from people that I met in Canada who didn't make the team, who were upset about it. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be greedy. I'll back off now and let everyone else have a go.
What I find is really incredible is that obviously in Invictus you took part in several disciplines. It wasn't just swimming, it wasn't just, it was lots of different disciplines, whereas you mentioned Paralympian, you'd only ever do one discipline. So that is amazing to win so many medals across different sports, different disciplines. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And there are people I know that do more than that.
Yeah.
They do like 8 or 9 different events. You literally run from one to the other for a whole week, bouncing around, competing. But I just did the ones which I thought, like I said, I didn't know about the strategies. I thought they were just brute force and ignorance. Just go like a lunatic for a short amount of time, and as long as you're fitter than the next bloke, you win. But I realised that it's a lot more complicated than that.
There's a line you used just now, Mark, and you said you can't just throw yourself in at the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk swimming. So, how did you learn to swim after the accident? And what time was this? Was this for Invictus, or did you learn the pool before then?
So I used to be a very strong swimmer. I spent most of my time under the water because I just loved swimming underwater and it was faster. And about 4 or 5 years after I was injured, I was here in Plymouth at HMS Drake in their old swimming pool at lunchtime, and I had not been in a swimming pool for about 6 years. The lifeguard was in there reading a magazine, and I got in the shallow end, right in the middle, between the two ends of the pool, and I started swimming, trying to figure it out. And I got, if you imagine being a bird's eye view, smack bang in the middle of the pool, and I started getting tired. So I let out a breath. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I did, I started sinking like a rock.
Buoyancy's gone then, isn't it?
But it was never that way when I had legs.
Yeah.
And I panicked and I started sinking, and I threw my head back as I went down, and the water kind of got here. So it was just lucky I've got a big pointy nose. It was pointing out, and I just managed to go and get a little bit of air in, and it kept me buoyant. And so then I literally did this, just taking these really small breaths, paddling over, to the side, grabbed the side, got out, and I'm not going in the swimming pool ever again. And I realised then that if I don't have air in my lungs, I sink really fast. And I'll be honest, it panicked me. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until Invictus that I picked it up again and started learning how to actually swim and control my breath, and how many strokes you are from one end of the pool to the other, the strategy I'm talking about, knowing when to breathe out. The first year I did it, in a 50-metre pool, my strategy was I swim faster underwater, so I just hold my breath as long as I can and go. And in 25 metres, it's great. Mm-hmm. Is it 25? How long is it? There's 50 metres there. So in the 50 metre, the one length is great because I've got 30 metres underwater, and then you can just grizz it out. But when you're doing 100, you can't do that because once you're out, and you just get slower and slower and slower. So again, last year in Australia, I changed my strategy a bit. I thought I can't just hold my breath and go like a lunatic for as long as I can. So employed some strategy.
That's really weird to see that. Again, I'm never swimming again. To I'm going to compete for a medal.
Yeah, again though, it's just.
And I think I've read before that you didn't actually intend entering the swimming competition. Is that right? You literally decided on the day?
No, I was signed up for the 50 metre and 100 metre freestyle. Mm-hmm. But I'd met a friend, this is in Australia, I'd met a friend in Canada called Gary who was in my classification. He was a Australian Special Forces sniper guy. Such a cool guy, and we competed against each other in Canada. And his coach, believe it or not, is from Tor Point, from over in Salt Ash. His parents live over there, so we had that in common. And we were sat down and we were at the heats, because my classification is so small, we just go straight to the finals. Yeah. And I'm sat there talking to him, and the coach is like, I said, what's Gary in for this year? He said 50 metre freestyle, 100 metre freestyle, 50 metre backstroke. I couldn't do the backstroke, I just couldn't get my head around it. And 50 metre breaststroke. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm doing 50 metre free, 100 metre free. He said, oh yeah, but they're probably going to cancel the breaststroke. I said, why? He said, oh, he's the only one in it. Right. Now I thought that meant he would just automatically get a walkover and get a gold medal. But they explained to me, no, they'll cancel the event because they don't run it that way. Yeah. So I said, well, this is at like 9 o'clock at night, the night before we're due to be in the final. So I said, well, listen, go speak to the officials and say, I'm happy to jump in the race. All these people have come from thousands of miles. Gary's trained for it. We'll jump in, give him a show. Yeah. And at least
I'll be a pacemaker. I'll be on for the first 30 metres.
Right. So I turned up the day of the race, and behind the 50 metre pool was a 25 metre pool behind this screen. So I got in there and I thought I better figure out how to do breaststroke. So I'm doing this like an ordinary breaststroke, and I'm going around in a circle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not going to work. And then I started doing this modified doggy paddle thing, and it dragged me forward. I thought, okay, that's all right. And there were no coaches with me or anything. And I thought, well, I remember when I watched everyone do breaststroke, they always put their head under the water when they're doing it. And I thought that might have been a rule. So I thought I better figure that out. And I started doing this weird thing where I was kind of bobbing and pulling and bobbing and pulling. And I had about 10 minutes to play. So I thought, okay, right, that'll do. I've figured something out. At least I'm going forwards. I'll figure it out. I know how to breathe. I've figured that out. I've kind of figured the stroke out. Let's see what happens. And I got in there, we swam, and I ended up winning, but only by 0.25 of a second, a quarter of a second.
You gave him a good show then.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. At the end, because I knew about my breathing now, and if I breathed out, I would have sank. Towards the last 10 metres, I got water in my mouth. Like one drop of water hit my tonsils, and I needed to cough. And I thought, if I cough, I'm going to sink and drown. So I literally just drank the water. Every stroke I pulled, I went, and I was drinking pool water. And that was actually, it was soothing the tickle in my throat, which was nice. But I could see on the big screen his yellow hat getting closer and closer out my peripheral. And I was like, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And I reached out just in time, 0.25 of a second. But I was literally, if that was a 51 metre race, I'd have drowned. Yeah, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
So 0.25 of a second ahead of the guy who trained for the race.
Yeah. But that's the brute force and ignorance thing.
It is, yeah.
You just gotta. I just figured out what I knew to do: the breathing, the kind of strategy when to pick it up, when to drop it back. I knew I had to go in a straight line. Now that's what I do know, so I'm just going to do what I know. I know there's a million other things I could have learned, but I didn't have the time.
So one of the things that we talked about in the book was your rowing training. And the thing that I picked up, I think I heard it on one of your podcasts, was about the staring at the wall. This is where the success came from, was the real boredom and the tedium of training day in, day out, of just saying, okay, it's 5 a.m, the alarm's going off, it's the middle of February.
It's freezing cold in my garage as well. Yeah.
Do you want to talk us a little bit through that?
I mean, there's not much to talk about. That's what it is. It was literally alarm went off, got up, had a little pre-workout black coffee, knew it was going to be freezing cold in there, went in anyway, and then it was, what my training day? Is it a short 20-minute session? Is it 45 minutes? Is it an hour of just backwards and forwards, building up endurance? And at that time, I don't think I had any decoration on my wall. It was just a white painted wall in the garage. So it was just a case of literally going backwards and forwards, just staring at the wall. And again, it was visualization. And I knew, I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's something to do with the winning's not done when you step in the ring. It's in the weeks and months leading up to it. The training is when you win. And that was what I kept thinking of. Every time I didn't want to do it, I'm like, well, the guy that beat me last year is probably training now, so I'm going to train. And that would push me on and motivate me, because I was like, I'm not coming back with silver medals. I want the gold, and I'll outwork anybody that turns up in a day beforehand, to try and achieve it.
I had an interview with Mike Tyson about 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about his training days. And he said that I would get up at 5 a.m. on a snowy day, and I would go out and I would pound the streets and I would run. Because I know the other guy is not waiting until 7 a.m. and he's gone on the treadmill. Yeah. He said, I'm going to do what he won't do.
Yeah, I heard that. Was that Joe Rogan?
It was Tony Robbins.
That was, you're right, yeah. No, I heard that one too. And that's it. That's what it takes to win. Even though, maybe the 2 hours before may not be a massive contributing factor, but mentally, running in the snow to a treadmill, I think is. Yeah. That's when you're like, well, he's on a treadmill, he's comfortable, he's warm, he's got his water bottle there. Yeah. I want to go out in the snow in my shorts, right, where it's freezing cold, and I'm going to force myself to do what the other guy isn't willing to do. And then when you get in the ring, and everyone's tired and they've got no gas in the tank, that's when you can force yourself to do what they're not going to do.
What you have to do, do what you need to do, isn't it?
Cool. Yeah.
So let's talk books. So your first book came out
2009.
2009. That was Man Down.
It was, yeah.
Talking primarily about the accident and the immediate aftermath of that.
Yeah, and that one kind of wrapped up when I got married in 2009. So 4 weeks before I went to America, me and my wife Becky were married, And that's where that one finishes.
Yeah.
So it's very much
a nice happy ending. You sail off into the sunset.
Right.
I'm never writing another book. That's me done. I've got
Yeah,
happy ending.
yeah,
It's
I'm
all-
waiting for it. Yeah, but that one's very much, look at me, I'm a big, hairy alpha male, macho man, I can kill people, aren't I great? Blah, 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 guns, knives, blowing, explosions.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, again, a young guy, never written a book before. This new one is going to pick up 4 weeks after I got married when I went to America, and it's going to be a much different book in terms of, this is like a civilian version. You've got the military one, this is the civilian one. Yeah. This is more of the inspirational one of, I went to meet Cameron, this is what they taught me about building the right people around you and what you can achieve from it. There's a lot of interviews in there from people that were flying the Chinook that evacuated me, the guy that was holding my femur, friends and family that I've known for a long time. So it's coming out. We're going to recap the day that I got injured, but with their perspectives as well, and then talk much more about overcoming obstacles, adversity, things we're talking about here. Tools, techniques, strategies, that kind of stuff. So we're out over halfway through. I literally 2 days ago just booked my ghostwriter to come down. She's got another holder next month. She's in the house at the end of my road, so we're going to nail that out. Hopefully get that out and ready for Christmas. And then we've got a couple of other projects on the go. I'm going to write a children's book, hopefully, or a couple of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I got an artist friend, I'll show you after this on my phone. He just randomly, I got a message one day and he drawn me into like a superhero. So it's got the prosthetic arms, the leg. And I'm up with a cape on, flying above a city, and it says Invictus Games, No Limits, Rammers, which was my nickname in the military. And someone said one day, I showed them, they said, that would be a really cool, kids book. And I was like, that would be a cool kids book. So I talked to her. We came up with an idea of how we're going to approach it. And I'm more excited about that than anything else. Just getting stuck in. And I want to use it for, obviously it's a children's book, so children are hopefully going to read it, but doing things like dispelling myths about disabled people. We're not, it's not like the old days where you would cross the street when you saw a disabled person because you didn't know what to do or what to say.
Well, don't ask any questions.
Yeah, all that.
Don't point, don't look.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that I can try and make this, being disabled, actually kind of cool. And where people are like, oh wow, cool, bionic legs, and they can do this and that. Obviously, I'll ham it up a little bit in the book, being able to fly and time travel and that kind of stuff. But I want to put tangible messages and lessons in it that kids read and change their perception a little bit.
Have you seen Jocko Willink's series?
I haven't read it, Mikey and the Dragon.
That's the one.
I haven't read them, but I listened to Jocko's podcast. I was actually going to go on his podcast a couple months ago. We were talking on Twitter.
Oh, brilliant.
But I stupidly didn't know how big California was. And I was 9 hours north of it. And I'm like, I can't really drive down there. I'm meeting a friend. So I thought he would be like an hour away. We're going to try and do it next time out.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
But I am going to read that though. Because he's a cool guy.
Yeah. No, Jack, our oldest, has got into them. Because it's brilliant. It's personal development for kids. But it's written in the kind of diary of a wimpy kid style. But it's all about discipline and pull-ups and diet and friendships and dealing with all the crap that kids have to put up with at school. So it's, there's a lot of kids, obviously there's a million kids books out there, but I think, if you can get one that's got the right angle, and the hardest part is getting the kids to pick up the book and read it.
But I mean, if you can kind of like, there's subliminal messages in a way, aren't there? You make it fun because they want to read it, but they don't even know that they're learning things. You're planting seeds in their mind where, I don't know, maybe the school bully reads it one day and then he goes into his own routine of about to bully somebody. He's like, actually, this isn't the right thing to do, and changes because of what he's read. So that's what I'd like to do with these books, kind of change people's opinions, perceptions. Bullying is one of the things I want to cover because I was bullied at school. So I want to kind of time travel back to meet myself when I was 13, when I felt bad and people picking on me because I was fat. And teach myself as a grown-up in the book lessons when I was a 13-year-old. And then hopefully people will read it and be like, oh, cool, okay.
Because you kind of want the people who are bullied to read that, but you also want the bullies to read it, to realise what impact they're actually having on other people. One thing I think we wanted to talk about was the options available for disabled people. So it's no longer just you get your disability benefits and that's your life. There's so many options open with the internet, with podcasting, with books. Anything, you're saying, I'm going to create kids' books. I'm writing this book. I've got a podcast. I've got a YouTube channel. I'm going to do this. And I'm flying off to Australia. It's like, if someone is newly disabled or is actually thinking, well, what can I do? It's all right for you, Mark. And one line I keep hearing all the time. It's all right for you.
Overnight success.
Yeah, exactly. Because they see you here now and they think, oh well, it's all right for him. He's got it all made. Obviously he doesn't worry about money and he doesn't worry about this. Well, actually, you've been there, you've done that. So what message would you give to that person who was thinking, well, I'm perhaps stuck in a rut. My mindset perhaps isn't right. That I'm thinking, oh, this is my lot, and that's never for me because it's a Plymouth thing we've had to put up with as well here. We're only from Plymouth, little old Plymouth. We can't be successful because we're from this little seaside town.
The one thing I say all the time when I meet people face to face, disabled people like this, is that obviously I can't tell you what the future holds, but if I was ever going to become disabled in my life, this is the time and day and age I want to do it. You can run a business from your mobile phone. You can become a social media influencer and get paid to post stuff. You can, literally, we're sat here now in your dining room, we've got 3 microphones and some fancy equipment. I talk into my iPhone in my car and I can do a podcast and I upload it ready in seconds. And you can start a career that way. You can bypass gatekeepers to things, whereas, maybe you want to reach out to someone and you need a bit of help or support and you're going to ask them for something. Whereas before you'd have to go get the yellow pages and search through it and spend a week. You just Google it or go on social media and reach out to them. You can do whatever you want, and people do. I mean, look at these YouTubers. They make ridiculous money, right? My kids sit there every morning. My daughter's, can I watch Play-Doh movies on your phone? So I'll sit there and I'm watching it, right? And it's a pair of hands, and there's a couple of Play-Doh pots, and they'll open an egg, and then they'll put a Play-Doh into a lollipop mode, and they'll go, ooh, 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 and they got 15 million views. And I'm like, what? You're talking about Play-Doh?
My kids, so we've just been on holiday. So Jack, my oldest, and 2 kids that he made friends with on holiday have all got YouTube channels. So the 3 of them are playing hide and seek in the hotel with their phones, average of 150 views after a day. I'm like, so these kids are watching other children they don't know play rather than playing themselves.
My son asked me for an Xbox, right? A friend of mine gave us his Xbox because his kid's got like 15 different consoles, and he got the classic Minecraft and everything. I was going to the front room one day and I'm watching someone playing Minecraft in America. I'm like, your Xbox is in the dining room, go play it yourself. I want to watch this kid. And this kid's
he's having more fun than me.
And I'm like, so this is my point. People say, disabled people, it's all right for you and there's not opportunities, and you don't have to go and work at Morrison's from 9 to 5 in a wheelchair. You do whatever you want, whatever you're passionate about. If it's collecting Pokemon cards or playing with Play-Doh or talking about baseball caps, you can monetize it through a mobile phone, and everyone's got one. Because I was driving down the Barbican the other day about 9 o'clock at night, and I went past, when you go to the main drag, and there used to be a club on the right called Lavish.
I know.
There were 2 people, and I was assuming they were homeless people, sat there with sleeping bags with a smartphone watching a film. Watching a film on a smartphone and laughing. And I'm like, okay, cool, everyone's got a smartphone nowadays, so everyone can get on the internet and everyone can start a business, get the information they need, and do what they need to do.
It is the barrier to entry is gone. If you go back to the likes of Simon Weston,
right?
Well, he had to actually work hard. He had to he
had
to write the book first, and then write to a publisher and say, "I'd like you to publish this book, please," rather than I just upload it to Amazon and it's done.
Right.
He had to go out and get an agent and get a PR. Obviously, he had the big news coverage, but he didn't sit there feeling sorry for himself. When woe is me.
No, you cracked on.
I mean, he's got this lovely saying. I found it the other day. If you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before. And 30 years later, he's still making success.
He's still doing public speaking, and
he did it the hard way.
He's made that career in that.
Yeah, he did it the hard way. Like you say, he had to knock on the doors to get on the BBC and the mainstream media, because social media didn't exist.
Yeah.
And he did it. Nowadays, I can go on, when we finish here, and go on a live stream to 28,000 people on my Facebook.
Yeah.
So, we've got everything's there, and kit and equipment. right now I've got £90,000 of prosthetic legs on.
Yeah.
I could not get in your house here in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
No way. You got 4 steps to get in here, and it's upside down, and there's stairs everywhere.
Either that or be out on the patio in the rain, which
Right.
would not be good.
Right.
Not next month,
But you know what I mean? So that barrier's gone where, you know, you've got these, and I understand not everyone gets these prosthetics, but there is something out there
Yeah.
that can improve your level of independence and take you closer to be where you want to be, whatever it is you want to do. So I hand on heart, genuinely think we're very lucky now when we're disabled, that there's all this stuff available.
Definitely. So the opportunities there are a lot more than they were even 10 years ago, but certainly 20 years ago. Social media has just opened it up.
Yeah.
And as you say, I think just about everyone's an influencer now about something, aren't they?
something, and I think, yeah.
But it is whatever brand you are as a company, if you'll find someone who is absolutely evangelical about that brand and has got the ear of other fans, and all they want is to reach those people.
Yep.
So this podcast, Mark, is called the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. What does an ambitious lifestyle business look like for you? I know obviously you work full-time as well as your own businesses, but what does that ambitious lifestyle business look like for you?
You mean kind of where am I head with everything? So I'll just rewind. We talked about it earlier, the Tony Robbins seminar. The first one I went to was probably 9 years ago.
Unleashed Power.
Yeah, up in London. And I really got into that, and I went through all of his programs. This is probably a story for another time, but it was bizarre. I went to, and I knew what they were doing. I've studied NLP up to master practitioner and coach level.
Everyone really say aye.
Right, yeah. So when you know when he's building you up and getting you in the mood to go and sell you something, right? And I knew what was happening, but I really enjoyed myself. So I went to the back of the room to sign up for the next level. And then I told someone about it. And by the way, the ticket I got to UPW was free from a speaking engagement. I mentioned his name, someone went, "Oh, we'll get you a ticket." Brilliant. So that was free. Then I went back and I think I paid $6,500 to go on this course. And I told someone about it. And guess what? They gave me the money back. A company paid for me to go. So I go out there. I'm in Spain doing the Life and Wealth Mastery. They get me on stage to tell my story. I go out to the toilet, come back, everyone in the room's put $10, $20 in the thing to go on to the next one. So I've got a business mastery in London. I'm at business mastery, I'm having a pee. This bloke stands beside me, he's about 7 foot, and you know when you can feel someone willy watching? So I'm peeing, like, let's get out of here, this guy's massive. And I come out of the toilet, this guy grabs me, and he's like, I'm an American veteran, and he was a platinum partner.
Right.
Now that's $60,000 a year to be a platinum partner in Tony Robbins. And if we start talking, so he then goes, without me knowing, to the platinum partners, and then they pay for me to go to the next thing. So I do all these, like 50 grand worth of personal development that I've not paid, except for flights and accommodation. I paid nothing for. And everything that I learned along that way, I've actually implemented. So things like the way my family finances are run, investments, automating things, systemizing things, compounding.
You're a routine machine there, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah. That's why I love books like this so much. And I implement it all and invest in and this, that, and the other. So for the future, that I'm just carrying on down that road is investing in things, property, businesses, diversifying all of that so that I can get complete financial freedom. Yeah. And then really carry on just doing what I'm doing. I just love doing what I'm doing. I've got so many plates and spinning right now that are taking me where I want to go. But I don't need to work, but I don't think I'll ever stop because I enjoy it. Yeah. I love doing it, and it's the challenge. I've had 3 meetings this morning about bits and pieces, and sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. I don't really need to do it. But then I'm like, I want to get my teeth stuck in. Yeah. I want to.
As long as you enjoy it still, and you know the difference you're making in people's lives.
And that's the thing as well. It's not about money. It's not, I've got to do this, and then all I'm going to do is treat everyone like crap and work on the bottom. It's I want to do this because I enjoy it, and look how many people are getting help. Yeah. And then you get the nice email and the nice tweet and this and the other, and you're like, this is really cool. I'm helping people, making a difference to their life, and earning a living to support my family from doing it. Exactly. It's the magic formula for me.
And you've done that by implementing, like you said, with the Tony Robbins step of going through all the courses. It would have been very easy, particularly as say people were covering your fees for you, right, to go, I've done that course. What's next? Yeah. Cool, what's that? But you actually gone, I've done that course, and I'm going to actually implement the lessons. I talked about it in the book and about the frog and the chicken. Yeah. Read that book. What's next?
Read it.
Yeah. I meet so many people like this. They're like, I've read that book.
What did you do?
What did you do as a result of reading it? Oh, yeah, I don't really get around to that because I'm reading the next book. And so many people, that is the difference, I think, that between the successful business owners and the less successful, is they're implementers.
Yeah.
They take the time to identify what needs to happen. They're not just going 100 miles an hour in any direction.
Yeah.
They take the time to learn. They take the time to do these courses, to get mentors, to get coached. But then they don't just say, well, I've got a coach. You know, it's like you're training for Invictus. Well, yeah, I've got a coach. He's told me what to do. So that's all I need to do. He's given me a diet plan. So that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to follow the diet plan. I don't need to actually eat the food. No. I've got the diet plan on a bit of paper here. It's fine. That's all I need to do.
Yeah. When I read your book the other week, I was taking notes as I was getting up first thing in the morning, sitting out on the balcony with a coffee, reading it, and then because what I do is I made the mistake in the beginning of trying to do everything what I was reading in books, but I was like, well, that's not even relevant to me. And I overloaded myself, and I'm like, oh, that's useful for me, where I'm going. That's useful. And I was taking notes on my phone as I was reading. And now the whole thing is I add that to my routine of, I don't like to really call them to-do lists, but, you know, what I need to achieve. And then I add those notes in strategically and then take action.
Yeah.
You know? I geek out on it. I'm such a nerd. I'm a complete nerd with it all.
I suppose what have you taken from John's book that you've implemented?
If
you can take anything in it.
No, I did. I'll show you guys the notes later, but it just kind of reaffirmed for me the importance of the routine. And the thing, there was I think a couple of times you said in it about what I took away was the whole patience aspect of it. Of, all right, you may not see results now by changing that smoker choker tall latte with 16 shots of caramel for a black coffee when you're trying to lose weight, but in a year, just making that tiny little change, you will. And you know, that's in the respect of diets, but as for your finances, oh, do I need an £80 phone bill? No, I've got a £50 one now. Oh, it's only £30 a month. Well, after a year, that's what, 300-400 quid.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for me, making those small changes, and that's actually what I'm doing Sunday night. I do the whole family finance thing every quarter. Sunday night is my time for that now. And I go back, do I need this? Do I need that? That's too much. Chip that back. Are my savings on track? Blah, blah, blah. Am I getting the best return? Geeking out again on that stuff. Yeah. And then just, you know.
It's very easy to sit and look at the finance.
I know.
It's only 20 quid a month.
I know.
And I've got to pick up the phone and actually speak to someone to get that changed.
Yeah.
But that's £240 a year, 10 years, actually chuck that in an ISO or something like that.
Exactly.
10% compound all that. Oh, hang on, that's $4,000.
Yeah.
$4,000 for a phone call. Go on then.
I know, and that's just one example. But it's like with I'm not a PT trainer or anything like that, but for some reason people message me all the time about this stuff. Yeah. And I say, look, I won't go into the science about why your body holds on to fat, but when you do these crash diets and you lose loads of weight quickly, your brain's like, oh my God, he's starving himself. We need to use fat for fuel. And then as soon as you eat normally again, it goes back on because your body wants more fat because it panics.
Yeah, I've used up all my stores. So I need to stock up again.
But if you make these little changes, like I say, all right, I mean, you talked about the beer drinking and stuff. Oh, I'll knock that on the head. Doesn't make a difference today or next week, but in a year's time, financially, physically, mentally, you've made a massive, and that's one thing.
Financially.
Yeah. It's one thing, you know, it's people don't have the patience.
No, because that's the hard thing is you have to have the pain of giving up the booze now, but you don't get the benefit until several months later. And it's the same with cigarettes, you know, you get the beauty of actually being able to get air in your lungs and the financial benefits and all the increased blood flow and everything like that 6 months down the line, but you get nicotine withdrawal now.
Yeah. I call it short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah. People said to me a long time, when you lose your legs or a limb, you get a thing called phantom pain or a phantom sensation, where you can either feel the limb or
so that's where you're scratching that itch with fingers.
Kind of. If you imagine, like from my feet, for example, it's like a lightning bolt hitting you in the toe, but you can't relieve it because you can't reach out enough to grab and scratch, or you get the sensation of the limb still being there. Okay. So early on in my recovery, the guys in America said to me, you want to desensitize your legs, so take your prosthetics off, go start on a mattress, and stand up and put weight for your femurs. Then go to a pillow, then go to a rug, then to a carpet, then to a tile floor. It took about 6 months. And the first time I did it, tears were coming down my eyes, just because of the pain. But I was like, short-term pain, long-term gain. Yeah. I ditched the medication. I was on about 24 pills a day. Ditched it. This was 16 months post-injury. Ditched all that. 6 months later, no pain, no sensation. Rest of my life, happy days. You know,
built up your calluses.
Yeah, short-term pain, long-term gain, and it's the same with lots of things.
Yeah, we have that. I think the one I normally refer to most about that is staffing, where you've got a problem with the staff, or you need to have a difficult conversation or something. Do you want that short-term pain of I'm going to have a difficult conversation, or I'm going to let that person go, or I'm going to ask that girl out, or I'm going to, whatever I'm going to do something that is really tough, or do you want the long-term pain of being on your own, sat in your bedroom?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So this episode is going to be coming out in October. Your book, Man Up, is going to be coming out not long after that. Then
I'm hoping November.
Okay. Where can people go to find out more about that?
Nowhere right now, but they will. Social media. Okay. I'm on there every day. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Not so much YouTube. I throw a few vlogs up every now and again, but Instagram or Twitter are the main ones. But I'll be tweetagram booking about it non-stop when it gets to the time.
So basically, when it's out, everybody will know anyway.
Yeah, they will.
And obviously, they'll still hear you on Jocko's podcast then as well.
I hope so. And everyone else's podcast I can get on. I'm mine.
Definitely. You got your own podcast as well. Is it just Mark Ormrod podcast?
It's called the No Limits podcast.
No
I've been really slack on it for the last 2 months because of work, and I've just started one at work now for the Royal Marines charity, which I do every Monday. But I'm going to pick it back up now.
I think, do you only ever record episodes in your car? Because it seems...
Yeah. It's the only place I can get any peace. I just find a little quiet corner of a car park somewhere and just record my thoughts into there and upload it.
Brilliant. Good. Any closing thoughts you want to leave us with, Mark? Anything for the listeners?
I don't know. I mean, I think I covered most of it in the chat. Just, what you were saying. If you're thinking about something, the only way to make it happen is to take action. And we are lucky the day and age we live in that you can do literally anything you want. These YouTubers make ridiculous money talking about Play-Doh. If you're passionate about something, whether it's stamp collecting or X-Men comics or whatever, and you think, I'd love to make vlogs about that, just do it. Yeah. Just do it. But again, what we said just now, it takes patience for the success to come. Yeah. Some people are mega lucky and they're in the right place at the right time and they nail it. Most of us, it takes a good 5-10 years to see the results. But just go do it.
We're on episode 57 of this podcast now. Most podcasts average 6.
Okay.
Because that's how many they make, and then they go, it's actually hard work.
And they don't see no ROI. Yeah, they don't see no return on the investment. They're like, I've got to take 3 hours out of my day and I've got to plan it. And, but some people can make a fortune out of it.
Long-term gain.
Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
to be honest. There seems to be loads of subject areas which we could still cover, which is amazing. So it's always great to have that at the end of the chat. So brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Having me. Cheers, guys.
See you later. Right, bye.
Bye. Head on. See you later, Manson.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.